So, I'm just going to talk to you for a minute here.
Wienerville city limits. It was an actual show on Nickelodeon, man. And it was like a dog. I think it was like a dog that was like made of bones, named Boney. He's like, I'm Boney, leave me aloney.
Well, serving up chops and pounds of bologna. I get my NFL stats on my cellular phony. The ends are in motion, the offense is shifting. I've been here so long I think I'm shoplifting.
Dude, did you just make that up yourself?
No! That was a Sprint ad from like 2004, dude.
2004. I don't remember much from 2004.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world, we give you another ripping edition of the Dan vs. D Sports and Stuff podcast with the initials DVD, as in DVD player. I'm your player, D with 2 E's, and always beside me, to my left, on my right. Today he's on my right, and he's doing some weird hand motions. Introduce yourself, man.
It's Dan with an A.
Yeah, he's doing like some obscene gestures beside me that I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible and stuff. So, yeah, he was just doing some weird, like, arm and hand motions. Like, you let your imagination run with that. But, yeah. But, we back after a long hiatus. Man, how long has it been?
Long enough that you could call it a low-atus.
I guess, like, whatever that means, but...
Instead of a hiatus.
Yeah, I think I just saw, like, Devin McCourty, man.
Oh, was he at the game?
Yeah, it was one of, either him or his brother, Jason. But it was Devin.
We're watching Warriors Celtics on ESPN right now.
Yep, ABC. Yeah.
Free advertising.
And this is, like, a first. Like, this is the first time we're in my spaceship. Like, at my apartment.
Hey, yeah,
like, we have, like, an L-shaped glass desk. We got his laptop over here on the leftmost part. Like, kind of like in between. Like, we have a TV on the far, like, on the right side of the table. And then we have the mic in the corner. And then we have, like, a second monitor hooked up to the laptop. So, yeah, Dan brought his equipment and hooked it up over here. And for some reason, we got, like, my little interface that's not plugged into anything, but
Tee-hee.
It's just for the aesthetic, so
yeah.
Plus it's like a little reminder that, thanks Dan for that gift birthday a couple years back. So,
yeah, dude.
It's really cool. And
that old EV SM58 clone chilling here.
Yeah, man. But yeah, so been a while, holidays came and went, and this is our first podcast of 2019.
Our first show of 2019, yeah.
I found it, man. There you go. All right.
If you think about it this way, it's this is the third calendar year in which we've done the show.
Man, this episode 16. Did you picture you'd be like at 15 or now going past like 15 episodes?
I had hoped so anyway. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily pictured it, but
yeah, like everybody hopes, like, to have like a long running series. I don't think people's like, man, I just wish we just only had one and only episode. Like you never hear that, but like, yeah, it's especially where we are now. Like, as I think about it, when I put it in perspective, we are like, grown adults with a lot on our plates, like full-time jobs, and doing like other things, like my sense, like my family is like me and my girlfriend, and just trying to balance all that stuff out, and then trying to balance like a social life on top of that, and then so it's always been like a challenge trying to coordinate these things.
Yeah.
So like I feel like the 15 episodes we recorded prior was like a testament to like the hard work and our commitment, and I think that's just like a blessing within itself. So us going on our 16th episode right now, I mean, it's quite an accomplishment.
As has previously been Got something going on my throat tonight.
That's all right.
As has previously been stated, this show is, a passion project. I don't think we were ever. I mean, I don't know what tantamounts. I don't know what
our motivation.
I don't know what amounts to being serious about a podcast really is, because we've always been very informal about this. So
But my thing is, we have gotten better since episode 1. I think that's what it is. It's less about being super formal. It's more about the intangibles, like the improvements from episode to episode.
I like to think that we play off of each other much better now. You
say playoffs? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Made a weird noise.
Yeah, we talk about that playoff, but yeah, the playoffs came and went. Yeah, so.
But anyways, sports.
Sports. So, before we get to I made a reference of playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs, but yeah, let's talk about playoffs. So the playoffs came and went, and we're down to the 2 competitors. But let's reflect on the journey it took to get to the championship game, to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, what was your? We know the teams and stuff. What was your biggest surprise out of the participants?
In terms of surprises, I mean, I don't know. I felt like the teams that should have made the playoffs did. Very rarely are there actual real playoff snubs in the NFL, because the playoffs are big enough that I feel like, really, honestly, you have teams like the Titans that really shouldn't get in.
They
didn't this year.
There was a choke job though before the playoffs though. The Minnesota Vikings, they collapsed big time and let the Eagles, led by Big Dick Nick, go sneak in.
That's right. I guess really, the surprise has to be the Eagles, right? The fact that they won that first playoff game, they beat the Bears on the double doink.
Yeah. And that reference to your name tree's Big Dick Nick. So I'm not gonna take credit for that, but that was really clever by him. But I just
that's been a nickname though. I've heard that nickname other places too.
That's the most prominent I heard from him. But yeah, I just love the nickname Big Dick Nick. Man.
Big Dick Nick.
I wonder if he gets. You think he gets referred to that, or someone responds to him or calls to him with that nickname, and you think he actually responds?
I'm sure he. Whatever.
He just gives his autograph.
That came from one of his teammates saying something in a Reddit AMA years ago. So that's not even a thing that comes from him. So I'm sure he probably just finds it amusing.
I want to know who it was, man.
Who said it?
Yeah.
It was Connor Barwin.
Connor Barwin. He would.
So, I remember, I'm sure I'm gonna, one day, forget, my own name, but I'll remember that Connor Barwin is the origin of Big Dick Nick. Well, I guess my disappointment is that blown call. That's the worst one I've ever seen. Ones that happen at other points in the game you don't necessarily remember, but just going from... Sorry, I'm congested today or something.
That's all right. Just don't get me sick again.
I'm not sick.
No, I don't know.
But just going from what I've seen and what I can remember, that's the worst blown call I've ever seen. And now, do you remember a few years ago, in 2011 maybe, I can't even remember the pitcher's name, but do you remember when an umpire had a blown call at first base that cost a guy a perfect game?
Yes, I do remember that.
In MLB.
What was the pitcher's name?
I can't remember. It was...
It was the D-backs, wasn't it?
No. He pitched for the Tigers. I could easily look this up, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the point is, that play led to replay in MLB because there was no replay before that.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So that's the trivia.
Because that was such an upsetting moment and outcome that.
I like how the pitcher was really a class act about it.
He was, and the two guys eventually wrote a book together.
Him and the umpire?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a player and an umpire coming together?
Yeah.
Wow, dude. haven't seen like a player and umpire come together since like the ending of like the ref strike in the NFL with the replacement refs. Like Ray Lewis actually gave like a ref a hug or something, or shook his hand real good.
Which was ironically right around the same time.
Wow.
In 2011.
Wow.
2011, 2012. Anyway.
It took the Hail Mary for them to finally stop it.
I know. Another regret is that we weren't doing this show back then. That would have been a fun podcast. Anyway. I forget where I was going with that. Anyway, that's probably the worst blown call I can remember. But again, it's like, that's a little bit different because there was no replay at the time, and I never understood the NFL's like weird thing about how some things are reviewable and some aren't, and it's just like...
Do you think penalties should be reviewed?
Yes. I think anything... Penalties either need to not be reviewable, but have less of an impact on the game. So, I mean, I don't even know how you do that.
Should there be separate challenges, like your standard challenge, like spot the ball or catches, and then should be like a separate challenge for challenge a penalty
or a booth review or something? I don't know, but it's just like if you're gonna have pass interference be like a potential 45-yard penalty, then it should be reviewable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I know that this is going to open up a lot of sticky situations where even more we're going to keep stopping games specifically to sit and watch replay for several minutes, and I think we'll get there when we talk about the Patriots game too, but it just, oh god, I don't know. I know this is supposed to be a separate topic, but I'm frustrated. Everyone's frustrated. It sucks. And it was a really good game.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ruined it.
Okay, yeah, we'll just jump into that. It was a terrible call. Did it cost the Saints the game? Yes, it did. Was it the only thing that cost them the game? No. And here's my reasoning. I was watching it earlier when I was away from home. I was watching. They got the first two possessions. They were deep in one guy dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone.
Yep.
Sell for a field goal. Then they were deep in the Rams territory. Second straight possession. Sell for another field goal. That's two possessions that a Drew Brees led offense with Alvin Kamara and Ingram and Michael Thomas and those boys. Those in the first quarter, 6 points versus 10, 14 points.
Yep.
And there's kind of a difference there. Let's say for what it is. They at the end they were robbed. Just at the end of the game, they were robbed from going to the Super Bowl. But at the was that the only play that would have affected the outcome? No, because they had two opportunities to score touchdowns in their first two possessions, and they sell for field goals. Right. And a Drew Brees led offense, and you get two field goals when you're deep in the Rams territory. And one of those passes was dropped. That was the first possession. I think it replaced a tight end, dropped the pass right in his hands, dropped it.
Yep.
So if they score those points, we could be speaking a different story.
Yeah.
And plus the defense didn't do as hot, stopping Jared Goff and them. So they still controlled their own destiny, but that call really did shift the momentum of the game.
Yeah. I mean, in every close game, even a game that's not decided by a back-breaking penalty like that, but every close game there is, half a dozen important missed opportunities for each team, because that's how the game gets close, right? If one team takes advantage of all of those,
yes.
It's a blowout.
Lack of execution.
It's also worth noting that egregious, horrible call happened, but then the Saints completely folded after that, and Drew Brees threw that horrible interception, in overtime that set up the Rams to kick a field goal, and like all that stuff happened, and that's, the guy still had to make a 57-yard field goal to win him the game or whatever.
I mean, that's still like a cheap, a chip shot from Greg Zuerlein, aka Legatron.
Dude, a 57-yard field goal is not a chip shot for anyone.
For Greg Zuerlein, it is. It's freaking Legatron.
just ask Cody Parkey.
I mean, first of all, that was like more like a 47-yard field goal, and he like hit the uprights, man, which is hard to do.
It was just the fact that they kept talking about his doinks, and then he doinked it again.
So does that make him Doink the Clown?
Maybe.
I mean, there was a wrestler called Doink the Clown. So it's just and that role was reprised by was played by a lot of wrestlers in the past. So is Cody Parkey just gonna be the next Doink the Clown?
Obviously.
Yeah, just put some some makeup on him, like clown makeup on, and and give him like a little horn, whatever. Yeah, he get in the wrestling ring. Yeah, sell tickets.
I mean, I'm sure that would piss his teammates off less than him going on.
Oh yeah, I read about
whatever talk show that was. Anyway,
didn't he get like a 3-4 year like $9 million deal or something?
Yeah, I mean he's never kicking there again. Which, anyway, we don't have to get into that. But let's talk about the Patriots game real quick.
Okay. So
because that was
bonkers, man. Like
the whole game was an experience.
I was surprised we held them scoreless in the first half. If we don't hold them scoreless, they win that game.
It reminded me of like the Warriors, where it's like you kind of know the Warriors every game are going to go on that like third quarter run where they just hit a bunch of threes in a row and then suddenly you're down by 15. But it was just, I don't know, sitting there watching that ball go, half a centimeter from Julian Edelman's glove over and over again for several minutes.
Oh, and then like, Gronk too?
Yeah, and then like Gronk, doing a thing, and did Hogan catch that pass, and that weird phantom roughing the passer call, which again is like my argument for why it should be reviewable, because that call too, dude, like, obviously that went in our favor and we're Patriots fans, whatever, but like, I understand why that was called roughing the passer in the moment, because all you really see at full speed is the guy's arm goes up and goes wham. It looks like a blow to the head at full speed. But if you're able to review it, I mean, again, this sort of gets down to the point of like, well, what the fuck is that rule actually trying to do?
I don't know.
And is it accomplishing that? It's either way, even if the guy's arm goes up and hits Tom Brady in the head, it doesn't make Tom Brady more likely to get injured on that play or not.
And then just ask Clay Matthews. You can't even make like a proper sack on the quarterback because it's seen as you're putting all your weight on him. I mean, force tells you, based on the basic laws of force, I mean, I can't avoid doing that. And you're saying there's a way to do that, and you probably never played football in your life.
No, I mean...
like, why are you telling me, like, I could avoid putting my weight on it?
Well, this, like, all just kind of gets back at the point that, like, football is an inherently flawed sport, and it requires large men to run at someone standing still and crash into him. Like, that is the sport as designed. So, I mean... You can't do that to a human body. You can't make this game
safer. I'm sorry.
You can't do that to a human body without breaking parts of it.
You can't make this game super safe. Oh yeah, like in Boston, so they're playing like the package of like them like winning the AFC Championship game. So Bob Kraft.
All the Patriots are there.
Robert Kraft's in there.
Anyways, anyway, okay.
So, New England. Oh. What was your experience like watching the game with me?
I'm going to go...
The AFC Championship game. Let this guy tell about what it's like watching the game with me.
Well, I mean, like I said, this was... I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here, but this game was a particularly weird, bizarre, nerve-wracking game. Wouldn't you agree? Like,
yeah.
I'm kind of used to it at this point.
At the end, though, it was kind of fun, though.
Because, this is just what Patriots playoff games tend to be. Like, you know what I mean? When they get in big games, they just... I don't know what it is, if it's you know what I mean? It just always ends up being like this.
I thought it was going to be like 06.
Every single damn game, you know? And so, yes, emotions tend to run high during those kind of games.
And my blood pressure.
The funny thing is, watching the Eagles last year, I got kind of upset, but what I realize now is that I was just in a bad mood about other stuff that was kind of unrelated to football.
I wasn't too upset. Like I was upset with the defense. They couldn't stop nobody, but, you know.
That was horrible.
But,
anyway.
I was like, if the Eagles were going to win the first game, I was like, hey, at least I can live to see them win their first ever championship.
Yeah.
And plus, Big Dick Nick, man. Like, is there any, more feel-good story than that? He contemplated retirement. Came back, got his chance when their quarterback of the future went down and won a championship. And he has an MVP to his name.
I mean, I still am more partial to the Kurt Warner story that he came in from the Arena League and threw 40 touchdowns.
Or bagging groceries.
Yeah.
Dude, Kurt Warner, man.
Or Tommy Maddox, winning a playoff game after he was selling insurance.
Tommy Maddox, man. Did he replace Cordell Stewart?
Yep.
And then, he got replaced by, Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
They went 15-1 that year when he started, and then they lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Yep. And Deion Branch waved bye-bye.
Oh, man.
On the end around.
On the end around.
I remember... See, again, it's why do I remember weird shit like that?
Because it was the Patriots.
I guess. Anyways.
But, yeah, my girlfriend had to calm me down and this and that. Because,
we both had to have talks with you and reassure you that, the world is not ending.
I guess it was just, how we were, letting them come back. We gave, over 35 points in the second half and stuff. It was just can y'all stop somebody? But I gotta say, though, as stressful as it was if you're a football fan, that's a real fun game to watch. That was a fun... Patrick Mahomes is the truth, man. Patrick Mahomes...
How was Patrick Mahomes not the first overall pick?
Oh, the NFL draft?
How? How did that happen?
Because over analysis of of scouting and I mean, come on, how many top picks have whiffed lately, over the years? A lot. It's a high percentage. Same question. How did Aaron Rodgers get to 21?
I know. I know.
People overthink that.
Brady was a 6th round pick. I mean,
people overlook
the Patriots passed on Tom Brady 5 times. Before they drafted.
People look at people sometimes they miss on the intangibles of of heart and soul and spirit, and you look at potential. Hey, this guy's got a great arm. You know who they said had a great arm? Blake Bortles.
But Patrick Mahomes has a great arm. I don't know. I look at that.
Sometimes you just gotta get
given
lucky.
What that guy did the second he became a starter, to me, it just proves that
how do you play behind Alex Smith?
It proves to me that we fucking suck at evaluating prospects. Even now. Even now, we are absolutely god-awful at it.
Well, the thing about it is football, I think the fail rate is a lot higher in football because there's a lot more picks, and then there's I think it's easier to evaluate talent in the NBA. People mock drafts and stuff. I mean, come on, Zion Williamson is going to be number 1, number 2 overall because he can jump out the gym. He got great skill set and all that. That's easy to see.
Well, here we go. I mean, consider this: that the last couple of years, Donovan Mitchell immediately had a huge impact. He was drafted like number 10 or something. He slid quite a bit. And look at this year, Luka. Why wasn't Luka the first pick? Or was he?
No, he was like Luka Doncic was like pick 4 or something. Like he was drafted by the Hawks, and they traded for the rights
That's right.
of Trae Young.
Yeah, I didn't think he was the first pick. That's my point. Is like even then, I think there's still an element of like sometimes guys come in and they show you something that you didn't know they had.
He was the 3rd overall pick, but they traded down to get Trae Young.
Right. Anyway, that's my point. Mahomes is amazing, and like, so here's the funny part. So,
but he sounds like Bert from Sesame Street, man.
Dude, I have 2 coworkers that I talk football with at work. One is a big Chargers fan, and one's a big Chiefs fan. So over the course of 2 weeks,
your team destroyed their hopes and dreams.
They've both gotten really pissed at me.
I mean, it ain't like you beat their teams.
No, I mean, all in good fun. They're not actually that. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. There's some fans that actually do take that personally.
No, I know. You know that I would never associate with people that actually are like jerks about. All the way back to calling back to our first episode.
Oh.
Where we were talking about what is appropriate fan behavior.
Yeah. Vintage.
All the way back in 2017, dude. Anyway, the point is in my pants.
I was just thinking that. I wanted to say it, but you got it out first, man. That's a callback to like episode 1.
Yeah, I think so, because I had all these weird verbal tics.
We like the NFL or just us in general. We suck at evaluating talent.
Yeah,
and a lot of great talent falls under the cracks. Some people don't even get drafted, and then they become some of the best players than like your first round counterparts. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I mean I think the baseline for are you good at something is are you better than a random number generator? We're better than that, at least. Because generally higher draft picks tend to be more successful, but like we still kind of suck at it if we couldn't tell that Patrick Mahomes was going to be the goddamn truth.
I mean, what about like Stephen Curry? He was drafted number 6.
Yeah,
passed
fair.
on him, and now he's easily a future Hall of Famer, man.
But I think
so the draft is just a crapshoot. It's just a lottery at best.
It's sort of, it kind of almost goes back to like how we evaluate players. There's that kind of famous thing with Belichick that he doesn't want to know what a guy can't do. He wants to know what he can do.
And then maximize his strengths.
And then put him in a position where, it plays to his strengths rather than avoids his weaknesses. But you know what I mean? Like, I think you can argue Steph Curry slid in the draft because everyone wanted to poke holes. Rather than seeing what he could do, he was doing a lot of that crazy shit.
I think what they were saying,
at Davidson. It's just that they were like, well,
can he dribble good enough?
Well, it's a mid-major. He can't, he's not a great point guard. He can't do this. He can't do that. Instead of looking at what they saw with their own eyes.
Like, is he small? I mean, actually, how tall is Steph Curry? I don't think he's that. He's small.
He's not that small, but he's not huge either. But I remember because I had so much fun watching him in college.
He's 6'3", so that's not small for a point guard.
But I remember that very distinctly even now. That like the draft experts at the time were saying that he'll be like a off the bench shooter basically.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Good grief. He took Davison
that in the NBA he'll be like a mediocre 2 guard.
He took Davison to the Elite 8, and they were like one basket away from going to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And it took Kansas to knock him down. Barely.
Yep. That's my point. And I think you could probably a lot of times it's context too. A team might not necessarily need the position that you're in if you're the best player. But anyways, I don't know. Mahomes is amazing. And like...
They'll be back.
Because this to me, like... This is beyond just like the guy is way better than we thought. He's straight up doing crap that like we've never seen before. Man. You know what I mean? He's having a Steph Curry-like impact where he's able to just chuck the ball down the field with impunity and just, it's like someone took, I don't know. Remember how Mike Vick could just kind of flick his wrist and the ball would go 70 yards? It's like that,
and then he
plus an ability to scramble, plus an ability to read defenses.
He click his heels and he like gets like a 20-yard gain.
Yeah. Plus, he like Mahomes is like a Madden creative player. It's like you fucking like made a guy to be your franchise quarterback, and then added all the fun, cool stuff in. It's like you did like a Rubik's cube where you're sliding all the attributes into place. It's just incredible, man. And like he put on a clinic in that game.
He had put on a clinic all year. Also,
and I mean, the Chiefs lost because their defense got gassed, and the Patriots ran 99 plays or whatever.
Just like Jacksonville from last year.
Or honestly, just like in the Super Bowl where they beat the Falcons.
They got gassed.
The Falcons got gassed at the end, and they just could not stop Tom Brady no matter what they did. And it just became a clinic at the end.
Man.
So, anyway, bright future for Mahomes. That's a big takeaway from this season. Is that he was way better than expected.
Mahomes is like, I look forward to seeing them again next year. And then I think next year will be the year that we do sort of like a passing of the torch. Barring like a bad injury to Mahomes or something,
Yeah.
But they're going to be there.
But, that team is going to win their division like the next 7 or 8 years. They're going to have...
Denver ain't going to do... I mean, their biggest threat is the Chargers, but how long is Phillip Rivers ain't going to be playing for too much longer.
There's no guarantee that you get back to the same spot, but I just, of all of the teams in the NFL, entirely because of that, I feel like they have the brightest future.
And plus they're going to lock up Tyreek Hill. Come on. Hill and Mahomes... Forget about it.
And the rumors that he's going to get a $200 million contract. Yeah, you're damn right he should.
Does he deserve it?
Yes. Your entire salary cap space is not enough money to pay him what he's actually worth.
But then he's going to be throwing the cardboard cutouts. You can't win with that.
He is more singularly altering to your franchise than a 26-year-old LeBron would be.
Ooh.
Because think about how singularly important the quarterback position is. You can't win without a good one. Period. And
last time to do it was Trent Dilfer with the Ravens.
Yeah.
That was back in 2000.
It is the most important position, arguably in any sport. Really, really the NBA is different because positions are kind of fluid. In the NBA, the most important position is superstar. If you don't have one of those, you can't win.
You just need a scorer.
But that really, you can have a superstar power forward or a superstar shooting guard or whatever.
But you still got to have depth to win in the basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still have to, but same thing in the NFL. You can't win without, a passable defense at least.
Right.
Or, skill position. Anyway, the point is, it's the most important position.
And Mahomes deserves to get paid.
And he's the best player at the most important position. So, yes, he should get paid, and he should be paid a lot.
What if he becomes what if he's the combination of Brady, Manning, and, not Kaepernick, but Aaron Rodgers. Because he has the scrambling ability of Rodgers to extend plays. He's a winner like Brady.
Yeah.
And then just the gifted arm talent of Peyton Manning, man. It's wow.
He's got it all, dude.
He's got it all, man.
And did you know that he's good because he used to play shortstop?
He's playing football now. I get tired of hearing that narrative, man.
It's so stupid.
Start talking.
I don't care.
Dude, I want to hear more about his voice, man. We had a good win, and
yes.
I'm telling you, dude, he should. I'm sure if he was a guest voice as Bert, we wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Bert. But I love his voice and his talent.
My favorite fun fact about the dynasty or the streak, whatever you want to call it, is that
The Undertaker.
During the Tom Brady era, the Patriots have not gone more than 4 years without appearing in a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
because we think of the years between '04 and kind of the Devin McCourty era as being sort of the lean years, but it's like during that time they appeared in the Super Bowl and made the playoffs every year. So like, caveat as always, like, we're Patriots fans and we're incredibly spoiled and we really have no idea what it's like to be fans of a normal team. So
I mean, we did have 1-15 in '91.
I mean, do you remember that though?
No, I don't.
I don't either. So
but
that really
I'm
doesn't
saying is
count.
the Patriots have had like misfortune before.
No,
the big run.
the franchise has.
Yeah,
but this is beyond. I mean, this is like far, far beyond what anyone thought was possible in like modern day sports. It's
18 years. They've been to the Super Bowl half the time.
Yep. And I mean, and I think the thing to point to is that it really is, because I mean, everything about the current NFL system is designed to prevent teams being built into superpowers. And the thing is that really it hasn't happened here. They're not the most talented team every year, and they're not the, you know what I mean? But every year something kind of changes, and they kind of, they
find new ways to win.
They bring in guys and they win on the margins. They do weird stuff around the edges of the roster that,
And plus, Brady's a team player because he's far from like the highest paid player in the league. Like, people not even making the playoffs, like quarterbacks who don't make the playoffs, like Aaron Rodgers, is a lot more paid than he is. But he takes kind of like, or he gets his contract restructured and stuff, so it creates cap room so he can still be part of a winner.
Well, I mean, he makes money from other stuff too.
I mean,
so
and also his wife makes a lot more than he does, man.
Right.
So
there's also that.
He ain't hemorrhaging for money, that's for sure.
Yeah. So it's not, I don't know.
But the fact is, they're like the quintessential example of consistency. Over the last 20 years, man.
But I mean, there's, he forced Garoppolo out. Although the thing is, they were going to have to pay Garoppolo anyway, so I don't think.
And then he went on to tear his ACL. Bad luck. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't think there was a scenario that was going to play out where Jimmy G was actually going to be the Patriots quarterback of the future, because by the time Brady retires, Garoppolo might be like 30. So it's like, are you really going to pay a guy that much money to sit on the bench his whole career? No. Anyway, the point is, they haven't done everything perfect, and there was definitely, a streak there for a few years where, Belichick had some pretty big whiffs in the draft.
Chad Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, whatever that thing, whatever juju. Oh God, I was gonna say whatever
Juju Smith-Schuster.
I was gonna say whatever juju the Steelers have that they keep drafting amazing receivers.
I like Juju Smith-Schuster, man.
The Patriots have the opposite of that, where they just have not drafted a good receiver in just a million years.
They just take your receivers and turn them into stars. Remember they took Wes Welker from the Dolphins, turned him and had him become a big star. Took Chris Hogan from Buffalo.
Yeah,
he became a star. Amendola came from the Rams.
Yeah. Although it's funny because he was considered a bust. Because they paid Amendola quite a bit of money and he kind of sucked.
But he was big game Danny,
But then he kept doing some amazing stuff in the playoffs. Anyways, we're getting all kinds of off track.
We're being fanboys at this moment. But
okay, well here's a good thing. I'll just steal this straight from the Deadcast. Who's your favorite Patriot of the most and least favorite Patriots of the Brady Belichick era? You already know. I think you already know what my favorite is.
My least favorite is Albert Hainsworth, because he was supposed to help strengthen our defense and he did nothing. So he's such my least favorite that I don't have much to say except it was just a waste. It was a bigger waste than Ocho Cinco. At least he caught a pass in a Super Bowl game.
They didn't really pay Hainsworth anything either. You could argue Adalius Thomas was a bigger waste because they paid him a lot of money. Adalius Thomas
still made some tackles and stuff.
They paid him a lot of money and he really didn't do much.
He did a lot more than Hainsworth. And plus, Adalius Thomas he had a cooler name too. So, was he a bust by number standards? But he still was in games. He acted like he still gave energy and actually gave a damn about playing. Hainsworth just gave up once he got paid in Washington, which that tends to happen with Dan Snyder ran teams. But I digress. My favorite Patriot, just like for like all time, like I don't know, like that's like a few.
No, just of this era.
Of this era.
Of the Brady Belichick era, so just the last 18 years. Which I know is a long time.
I mean that's still like a lot of players. Like
that's most of your Patriots fans, but
do I have to choose one?
But like a non-Brady player.
Okay.
Non-Brady.
I was thinking non-Brady because there's several. Troy Brown. Like because he like
you took mine.
He's not my favorite, but he's an honorable mention. He's an honorable mention because he not only did he play offense and he was like the start of that dynasty. He also played defense. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Edelman. I mean, come on, big game Danny. But I'm gonna choose. I mean, James White also because of like I mean, come on, he contributed 16 points in that comeback. Come on. But my favorite player, I'm sorry, I gotta go. I guess I'm old school. Adam Vinatieri.
Yes.
Because I was heartbroken when we chose to replace him by a little rookie named Steven Gostkowski. I was like mad about that.
Who may also end up like Gostkowski's been good enough that he actually also could be a future Hall of Famer. Which is pretty incredible.
But at the time, I was really upset.
I was pissed
because we got rid of Mr. Super Bowl, Mr. Clutch, kicking in the snow. Like our first 3 Super Bowls, 2 of those Super Bowls was because he kicked a game-winning field goal.
Yep.
Like so, Adam Vinatieri. I gotta go.
Can I give you my fun fact? That's my favorite fun fact.
What he splits the uprights as Adam Vinatieri.
Here's how old Adam Vinatieri is. He once tackled Herschel Walker.
Really?
Yep. In 1996, his rookie year, after it was I think when Herschel Walker was.
Was this when he was with Dallas?
I think it was when he.
That was before the trade. No, that was after the trade.
That was when he came back to Dallas after the trade.
This Super Bowl, to me, if you want to talk about a preview, and I've talked to Dan about this, so he knows where I'm going with this. I'm not going to feel as emotionally charged as I was with the Patriots and Chiefs game, because I see the Chiefs as kind of like the opposition, the enemy and stuff, impeding the Patriots' progress. But I know the Rams are the opposition, but the Rams have a soft place in my heart. People, I mentioned before, my dad passed away almost 8 years ago, but man, it's been that long already. But he was a big Rams fan. When they were the LA Rams, then they became the St. Louis Rams, now they're the LA Rams again. So, and my biggest, easily my best memory of my life, not just my football season, but of my entire life, was when that Super Bowl between New England and the Rams, we decked out the downstairs basement with Rams jerseys, helmets, memorabilia, all of that. It was a spectacle because it was a father and son Super Bowl.
How old were you?
I was 2001. I was in
a little one.
5th or 6th. I was in 6th grade, so I think I was 11 or 12.
Yep.
Yeah, I was 11.
The perfect age. That's that's the age when sports seems the coolest.
And 18 years later, So this is cool. It's not like, oh my gosh, he hit the ball and ran over there, referencing Europe, but but now we're older and we see from a more cynical point of view of how like tax money and all that stuff, and like the hypocrisy of it all. But
well, it's like when you get older too. I was going to make this comment about the Chiefs game that we've just seen so many playoff games in our lives that like there's a greater sense of perspective.
Don't be greedy.
It's like it's also like, you know what? I know logically the team's going to be back next year and they may have just as good of a chance next year based on the fact that Brady's not aging at all. So like whatever, man.
Avocado ice cream, man.
I'm cool with it if they don't pull this one out. But it's like when you're 12, this is it. Next year might as well be 10 years from now. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, you live and die off of this one game, and it means so much to you.
And then, like,
in a way that it just can't as you get older.
And it meant so much to us both, to me and my dad, because, like, imagine, like, you thought I like talk to the TV or yell at the TV. I learned from the master. So yeah, but it was not like an angry, like an angry like an anger towards like the TV or to the situation. It was kind of like like frustrated, like you didn't make the plays you needed to, but it was kind of like good sport, good like friendly competition. Like,
yeah,
and regardless of who won, it was going to be a good outcome, because one of your family members is going to have like one of the best days of their lives. So, and they had already won a Super Bowl in '99, so they didn't really need it, but it would have been nice too if they won it. Patriots had never won it, so I got to live to see the Patriots, my favorite team, win a Super Bowl. And then little did we know, like
it was the start of something.
There's 4 more to go of winning that, and then possibly a 6th one. But the memories like that is why, like, I was secretly rooting for the Rams in that NFC Championship game, because I honestly thought the Rams Patriots would never happen again.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And now that it doesn't happen again, regardless of who wins, like, I'm gonna still feel like a winner. I mean, I get to still see my Patriots play in the biggest game in the world. One of the biggest games in the world. Like, at least in American sports.
Yeah.
It's still telecasted to, like, a bunch of countries and stuff. But, it's probably still, like, big worldwide as, like, FIFA.
Next up, the Patriots play in the World Cup final.
Yeah. And they advanced it around the 16. But
they bring in Tim Howard to play quarterback. Or cornerback.
Man, no, he's just like strong safety. He becomes our Ed Reed, but just seeing the Rams and Patriots play, it just provides such a sentimental value. So it's kind of like seeing like my dad's soul with that team. I kind of said like a joke to my mom, like saying like, well, maybe that was my dad that like pushed that guy into him and then like led it to be like a no call. Maybe he had an assistant, I don't know. But the Rams, Patriots, 2 good teams. 2 teams that I've actually rooted for throughout the season are playing against each other. So whoever wins, even though I want the Patriots to win still, because that's my team, regardless of who wins, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. As much as I hate the owner,
owner aside, I think he's just you got to treat him like an outlier here.
Yeah. It's not like I'm a huge Bob Kraft fan either, you know what I mean? But regardless,
did you say he was kind of tanked up though when he was interviewed?
He's always got a little...
I thought he just sounded like that, man.
Maybe that is what he sounds like because he's old, but I like to imagine that there's a bit of a whiskey buzz happening there when he's...
I mean, come on, he's in the box.
Give those post-game interviews. Anyway. But, I don't know. I like Todd Gurley. I like...
Gurley.
Brandon Cooks, the recent Patriot is
on
their team. And
remember last year when he turned around and then he got hit real hard and he got concussed, knocked out of the game?
Yeah.
It would be such karma if he just like burned us for like 200 yards in that game. And don't think they're not thinking about giving him his moment, man.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like, here, you just run like a deep out, and I'll find you.
Well, they traded him too, so
they traded him. We could have used him.
They traded him to a good team, so
instead we got Josh Gordon, and we lost him.
Yeah. Anyway,
get well soon, Josh Gordon. But yeah, the Rams though, like
Aaron Donald and his
Aaron Donald's just
his like shoulders that are just like a mountain atop which sits his head.
I never looked at his shoulders, man.
He has so much muscle. I mean, he's a defensive lineman whose just entire body is muscle. It's incredible.
I'm gonna Google this. Aaron Donald muscles.
I mean, I guess I don't know. It's hard when you see him next to other NFL players, but just look at that.
Wow, his muscles have muscles.
It looks like someone photoshopped extra muscles onto his body.
Man, like his traps are like defined, man.
He's a goddamn cyborg. Anyway, if the Rams win, it's going to be because he gets to Brady bunch. Or he at least frees up space for other guys to get pressure.
Oh, so we also got to play against Aqib Talib, former Patriot.
Yep. Talib.
Man, you and your spoonerisms, but
Takia Spikes. Anyways, so yeah, that's the Super Bowl. Either way, it'll be fun. Yeah, I'm not.
I just like how I have this picture of Aaron Donald on my tablet now. I'm not gonna take away from it.
Just leave it up.
Just leave it on here.
That'll be inspiration for when I go to the gym tomorrow.
See here.
I'm thinking that J.J. Watt might be upset with me.
Mm-hmm. And then Tempa T, he just inspired. He made a song called GYM, just inspire you to go to the gym. I love it. Yep. But predictions is, it's gonna be a close one.
Yep.
I want to say so badly New England, but this makes me really think of this has a New York Giant vibe. Even though the Rams had one of the best offenses in the league, they're still the underdog. If the Patriots are in something, you're not expected to win if you're the opposition, and that is dangerous, and that is dangerous for the Patriots because the other team really don't have much to lose, and you're this big dynasty and you're the big villains that people want to see go down. So I'm gonna say 24-21 New England, because it's gonna go because I think it will come down to the final possession. It's gonna be hard nosed. It's gonna be tied, and I'm gonna go with an Adam Vinatieri-esque ending, but with Gostowski. Driving down the field, you had the ball last, driving down the field, and he kicks a 48-yard field goal and wins the game.
I really do kind of have this feeling that the game plan actually ends up being kind of similar, where there's going to be a lot of run from possibly both teams.
Can we stop C.J. Anderson and Gurley?
We'll see. We'll see about Gurley too, because I think that's going to be a huge part of it. Is is Gurley right? Is there something wrong?
He's been bad.
Was he just mentally out of it last week, and that's why he played badly?
I think the knee is still bothering him.
Yeah.
You're never especially around this time of year, you're never 100%. And and then I guess it's just from me watching videos of football players talking about the injuries they play through when they get injected with the medicine to go out there and play. People play through strained hamstrings and all that stuff. I'm and you're not really supposed to be playing on those, but they give you a little something, you can play through it and you can have your best game, but then you'll barely be able to get out of bed the next day. But I actually do think that the knee is still bothering Gurley, and it's kind of limiting his explosiveness. That's why they've been giving more I think they gave more reps to C.J. Anderson in that Cowboys game, and they split. And I
Gurley
think
still ran for 100 yards in that game, though.
He did.
Yeah,
but the reps
on 6 carries though, because he got big chunks.
Yeah, but like they've been kind of splitting carries this playoffs instead of it. Like you wouldn't expect, like if I told you that they would pick up C.J. Anderson, who's barely played this season. This is his 3rd team of this season, and then they have Todd Gurley, and you're saying like instead of Gurley playing instead of getting 80% of the carries, he's going to get like more like 65% of the carries during the playoffs. You would think I was crazy. But that's what's happening. Begs
the question, if you can find running back production like that on the waiver wire, then why'd you pay the running back all that money? But whatever, man. And it's why, I'm sorry, man, but Le'Veon was right to want to get his money, because more and more and more everyone's like, why should you pay a running back?
Ooh.
So, anyways, my Super Bowl prediction. I haven't honestly put a whole lot of thought into this before now, because I just, but...
Yeah, I mean, we got a hot mic and it's what... Yeah, go ahead.
So, both teams, I think, are considered to be much better on offense than they are on defense.
Oh, yeah, defense. Our defense stinks. But we play together.
But, I mean, our defense was pretty good last week, at least in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that you can really necessarily be like, the Chiefs scoring all those points in the second half is because the Patriots defense sucks.
I'm still like butthurt.
You know that they're going to get theirs.
I'm still
just like the Warriors.
I'm still butthurt about last year's like Super Bowl though.
Yeah, no, I am too.
Brady threw for like 500 yards, no interceptions, and like had 3 touchdowns and still lost.
I mean, in my mind, in my brain, there's just no excuse for how badly they and again, we're never going to know why Belichick benched Butler, and it bothers me, and I think he should be, if we're gonna praise the guy, if we're gonna worship the ground he walks on when he does good stuff, we need to hold his feet to the fire when he screws up, and that was an epic all-time botch, in my opinion.
Remember when he benched Welker that whole first quarter against the Jets?
Yep.
Which probably might have cost us the game.
Might have cost them that game.
Uh-huh.
I just, it's hard to argue with success, but I think you should also still nitpick a guy.
Sometimes he outsmarts himself, man.
Case in point, Edelman screwed up really bad in that playoff game. He made a couple of great plays later in the game, but that doesn't erase the fact that he screwed up real bad.
He dodged the bull with the fumble and then went through his hands.
2 different times he screwed up real bad, because he shouldn't have been anywhere near that ball on that punt. Because he got in there trying to field the ball.
Yep.
And he should not have. That was a bad screw up of a play, and it would not surprise me if he is not out there to return punts in this next game.
Man.
But we'll see. Anyway, the point is, I got off track because I was talking about Butler and
predictions. You're thinking about it, you're, I guess, an uncertainty or something.
Yeah. On the other hand, Belichick is always great against young quarterbacks. I know Goff is not in his first year as a starter anymore, but
third.
By the way, that streak is alive too. Tom Brady now, I think, 11-0 in the playoffs against first-year starters.
Ooh.
So there's that. I'm leaning Patriots too. I think mostly because I think you just have to pick Patriots until they lose.
Yeah, unless it's until it's 0-0 and the other team has more points than the Patriots. There's always a chance of the Patriots just winning.
But I don't know, and I think generally speaking, it seems to me like in the media coverage that most analysts are leaning Patriots too. But I mean, I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to be quite as weird and unexpected as the Chiefs game was. But
I think Brady, if he wants to without a doubt solidify his legacy forever, I think he's got to beat this defense, because aggressive front fours have always gave him fits, especially on this stage of the Super Bowl. Giants twice and stuff.
Yeah.
So this could be he's gonna be a Hall of Famer and be known as the GOAT forever. But this would pad his resume even more if he can, like, solve that pass rush.
Oh, what I was going to say is the Patriots' offensive line is really good. And, with the extra time to game plan, it's kind of like, you know what, man? I think that can go, the taking the opponent's best player away thing, I think can go both ways. Like, I trust that they're probably going to, if they decide that they want to take Aaron Donald out of the game, they'll figure out a way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I think a huge part of that game plan might just be running the ball at him or around him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Rather than giving him a lot of opportunities to wreck the passing game, that sort of thing. But we'll see. I'm going Patriots. I almost want to pick 20-17 Patriots because that was the score of the first Rams game.
If that happens, will that be Illuminati confirmed?
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
The orange box 2.
No, but I think it's going to be a high scoring kind of shootout kind of game. I'm picking like 34-31.
Man,
Patriots. It'll be a nice. I'm feeling like it'll be a generally well executed game with not a whole lot of screw ups. Maybe a key pass interference call gets called where it maybe shouldn't.
Ooh.
And the refs, because there's going to be a lot of scrutiny anytime a flag is thrown in this game. There's going to be a lot of should that actually be called? You know what I mean? Anytime.
Oh man.
Yeah, don't be surprised, man, if receivers get close and there's hand fighting if they just throw the flag every time.
Or you just be J.C. Jackson.
Or I guess maybe right, because it was a no call, right? So I think if you're overcompensating, you're going to throw a lot of flags. So we'll see. I hope not, because it's just a better, more engaging sport to watch when they let the guys play back there. So
man.
So we'll see. But anyway, I'm picking the Patriots.
If the Patriots win, like, what's the key player outside of Brady from like both offense and defensively for them? If they're to win this game, what's going to be the key?
I mean, I think they need, on offense, they need Gronk and Edelman to do the same thing again. They need both those guys to make those kind of key third down catches. Cause,
they need Gronk, yeah.
And then on defense, I mean, it's got to be...
Y'all got the miss y'all wanted.
I'm trying to think.
And he got the no one blocked the shooter.
So the Rams, I mean, their top two pass catchers are Robert Woods and Cooks, right? So, I mean, I think really the key matchup back there is going to be, I would assume Gilmore probably is on Cooks, right?
Probably.
With maybe safety help over the top since Cooks is so fast. So, I mean, I think that's important. Can they...
What about Dante Hightower? He made that big play.
Yeah, Hightower in the middle. I mean, a lot of it's going to be because the big part of what the Rams do is they throw the ball to Gurley too, and
I think Hightower we lost. We didn't have Hightower for the Super Bowl last year.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he had like a season-ending injury. So so we get to have him. I'm leaning the running backs like Sony Michel. Man, what a big find. Hopefully he doesn't have 10 carries for 27 yards, like Maroney.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm going James White. I haven't seen anyone who can stop James White yet. Whenever we get him involved, I've never seen anyone stop him yet.
When James White's in the game plan, I mean again,
I'm going James White on offense.
It's not what he can't do, it's what can he do. They've identified that White is really good in that role, and so when the game plan calls for someone to have that role, he has a big game. Because they don't hand the ball off to him in between the tackles all the time. That's not what he's good at. They give him the ball in situations where they need short passing and they need, a guy to kind of dink and dunk to.
Or they line him up and make the teams think they're going to do a pass thing, and then, he's running up the gut.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so I can see that. Okay, what about defense? Feeling it's going to be like a Trey Flowers kind of game, coming in off the edge, or Devin McCourty?
McCourty. I'm just going to say Hightower, because we missed him so much last year in the Super Bowl, and then the Super Bowl before that, he helped give that spark towards overcoming 28-3 when he got that strip sack.
Yep, you're right.
So I think, and he's basically like the quarterback of the defense. Like he is like that center, like that center linebacker. Like I don't know I can't remember his actual position, but he's basically like the captain of the defense.
Yeah.
Doing like the audibles and stuff in the defense. So yeah, like we did not have our defensive leader last year, so we have him here, and I think he wants to improve the world that I'm one of the reasons why our defense didn't do so hot because I wasn't there. So now we're a different defense now that I'm back. So maybe he wants to put his money where his mouth is and wants to, do that because last time he played in a Super Bowl, he made a major impact. So I think it will come down to him because he can blitz, he can drop and do a little bit of coverage, both things that we desperately need or needed last year. Yeah. So Dante Hightower.
I like it.
Yeah. So both Patriots. What was your score?
34-31.
Yeah, and mine was 24-21. So, yeah.
I just added some touchdowns and field goals on.
Nice. So, yeah, Patriots. Biased as hell because we're fans, but...
Go figure.
Did you really think we were going to say Rams? Oh, yeah, they're totally going to crush us. Nah, we ain't going to say that. But if they do beat us, we wouldn't be surprised either.
I mean, I just authentically feel like the Patriots are going to win. I really do. I mean, I thought they were going to win last year too, so whatever. But I mean, I would pick the Rams if I felt like there was there's a reasonable argument for the Rams. I just, I guess maybe that's our last thing before we wrap up is okay.
They're not NFC. They're not an NFC East team, so we're good.
if we end up being wrong and the Rams win, why do they win?
Aaron Donald.
Is it Aaron Donald, pressure in the middle? The
pass rush and the actual coverage. And Goff lighting us up for 400 yards.
I think it needs to be... I think it's maybe not necessarily Aaron Donald getting all the pressure himself, but I think it maybe is him freeing up space for other guys to generate pressure, for Sue and their edge rushers to generate pressure if they're able to dial up blitzes.
So kind of like what Von Miller did with DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah.
Against the Panthers.
But it's also going to be it's going to require a 95th percentile game from Goff. He's going to have to not just make one or two of the throws. He's going to have to make all the throws. And he can do it. He's made the throws in the past. It's just, sort of like, Blake Bortles last year, even though we beat them in the AFC Championship, but that was a 95th percentile game from Bortles. That was probably the best football game he's played in his life.
It's the game that got him paid.
Yeah. And honestly, if it wasn't for Gilmore making that incredible
that deflection
at the very, very end, they would have had it. Anyway, so I think those two things have to happen. And I think too, Gurley needs to show up and play like a healthy Gurley.
I don't think he's that healthy. I really don't. They kept him out late in the season?
Yeah.
Did he play in during our fantasy championship?
No.
Yeah, so
no, I did it without Gurley.
Yeah, so
not to brag or anything.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it was for rest, but he didn't really. He just hasn't been playing the snaps that he's used to, the volume, and it makes you think. It's no disrespect to C.J. Anderson because they do trust him, they have to have the trust to give him the carries and the volume that he's been getting, but I really can you really say C.J. Anderson would get the amount of carries that he's been getting if Gurley was 90, at least 90%?
Yeah,
I don't think so. So he's good right now. He's still good because it's freaking Gurley. But there's just something that's holding him back, and I guess it's that injury. So I don't think he's fully healthy. No one is at this stage in the year, but especially him.
I suspect it's a bit of a hot hand thing too, and it sounded to me like his struggles last week were kind of mental too. That he made some like mental mistakes early on, and that kind of got to him. Because it's a young team and they don't have a lot of playoff experience. So, anyways,
but Patriots both ends. So yeah, and that concludes this segment. So.
Yep.
But yeah, this show rocks. At least our opinion does, and we want to share it with the world, and we're gonna make sure that we do what we can to just show it off more to the world. And yeah,
we hope that you have enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And we as we continue to have breath in our bodies and the energy and the care to do this, we're gonna keep bringing the episodes. Whether we have 1 fan, 5 fans, 500,
2.
Yeah,
2 listeners.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we produce the content for those listeners, for those 2 listeners, and making sure it gets better and better and better. Like not regressing or anything, but like not just doing it for our fans, but also maybe like also doing it for us, because we didn't think it would take like this. So. And now we're keeping on going. So yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds. Late Happy New Year to you guys. Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, all that. Since that last time, and I don't have a whole lot to say. What do you got?
Happy years and merry new holidays.
I guess the plugins. You're plugging like the social media plugins and like
right. Yeah, I suppose we need to get better about that, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Follow us on Twitter at DVD Sports Show with 2 S's.
2 S's.
Email us at dvdcastpod@gmail.com. dvdcastpod@gmail.com.
Now that's when we need to get my girlfriend to do that, because she has that seductive voice.
And we can sample her from the episode 3 when she was on.
I kind of like that. We gotta get her approval first, though.
We'll make you sing it, and then we'll auto-tune it. dvdcastpod@gmail.com. What else? We should tell you what. Here's the thing we should do. We should make an Instagram.
Ooh.
I don't know that there's a huge sports following, but Matthew Berry has an Instagram. Why not?
Why not, man? I mean, like, we got like the perfect picture for that. When we're like sitting in front of the mics.
Yeah, dude.
And I kind of got my head tilted up, and my lips all like, what's up?
Yeah, no, we do actually upload these episodes. I mean, it's sort of stupid because you're listening to it here, so you probably already know this or don't. But
we don't spam you guys though without us. Though.
Who cares? Subscribe to us on YouTube. It's possible we could leverage that YouTube channel too and actually put some exclusive stuff on there. You know
I like that. I like
Shoot
that.
some short videos and anyway.
And coming soon Twitch.
And coming soon to Twitch. We're on YouTube at just DVD Cast Pod.
Nice.
I'm actually smarter than I think I am. We're on YouTube as Dan versus D Sports and stuff.
Well, then that's that. If it ain't taken, which I don't think it is on Twitch, that's what I'm gonna go with too.
Check this out. The Badger King has no views.
Ooh.
I think our top viewed is episode 1. The math doesn't work.
Man.
Oh, Boston Blowout has 5 views. Super Bold has 31 views. How?
I guess was that like people like my laugh, man.
I put a note here that just says cut.
Is that when the Patriots lost?
I think that was our Super Bowl preview episode, if I remember right.
Oh yeah, 30 views. Wow, I wonder.
Yep, that was last year, dude. That was 1 year ago.
Man,
we did
to the
a
day?
Super Bowl preview. An episode about the NFL championship and Patriots fatigue, the Markelle Fultz jump shot videos.
Oh no.
And the new XFL.
Oh man,
those were our topics. And also that was the episode that we had that long talk about the Nassar case as well.
Oh. Man, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't think we've done a bad one, really.
I mean, rough cuts, but like that's just it. Just got better time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like.
Anyways, yes. Thank you all for listening. I wish I could just hug you all, but I'm not gonna.
But someday he will.
Maybe.
Cool. Anyways, peace, love, and happiness, and just do you. Be true to you, and whatever passions or joys you have or want in life, go after them.
Fleece, shove, and crappiness.
And but more peace, love, and happiness.
Yes, that's more important.
Yeah.
Than whatever stupid thing I said.
Anyways,
right.
I've been D with 2 E's.
Dan with an A-N.
And bring you another edition of the Danvers D Sports Stuff podcast. And we bid you guys adieu. Have a good one.
Goodbye.
He's like, I'm Boney, leave me aloney. Leave me aloney, leave me aloney, leave me aloney, leave me alone.